Hi and welcome, Casper. You recently published an investment case on MapsPeople. Could you give us a little introduction to the company?
Yes, thank you, Christian. So MapsPeople is a Danish software as a service company with offices in Denmark, Germany, United States, and Singapore. And the MapsPeople share was listed in June 2021 at the Danish Nasdaq First North Premier segment. MapsPeople is helping companies with indoor mapping, so primarily digital mapping for indoor navigation through its platform Maps Indoors. The company is also a Google Premium partner, which is a more steady business. However, this is important for MapsPeople due to its brand and the referrals of Google and so on. Looking at the business model, MapsPeople has a subscription-based model, and they are paid on venue size based on the square meters that are being mapped for the customer. As MapsPeople is dependent on mapping data from customers, it takes some time from the signature and to you can say the recognition of the revenue. And financially, MapsPeople, as other subscription-based software companies, guides on their annual recurring revenue, ARR, and due to the mapping process and also some accounting standards, revenue is currently quite a lot lower than ARR. An example of a customer, it's always good to get an insight of who is the customers. And for example, is LinkedIn, and other examples could be larger basketball and football stadium, where they want a mapping of the sports stadiums, and this is something that MapsPeople helps these companies with and get it in through a platform or app. Focusing on the go-to-market strategy, MapsPeople has a strong focus on partner strategies, yet MapsPeople also has some direct sales in different locations. And in relation to that, MapsPeople recently hired general managers in both Americas and Asia Pacific. We also have a picture here on the new CEO, Morten Brøgger, from the 1st November 2022. And he has international experience and is expected to take over from MapsPeople and take them to the next level in their growth international strategy.
All right. So in terms of the market trends and the growth, what do you think MapsPeople is exposed to?
Yeah, so MapsPeople is in a quite new market, and the digital indoor mapping market is expected to rise or grow at approximately 20% annually over the next year. So it is a relatively high market growth, and it's driven by structural changes after COVID-19, for instance, when employees are going into a large corporate office like LinkedIn office, they need to find a seat or a meeting room, and through an app, they can easily navigate and see what rooms are available and so on. And of course, also the general digital transformation is something that is supporting this market growth. So, for example, when you're entering a hospital, you can find the way to the room that you need to visit, or what is the seat for the sports stadium that you are visiting, and so on. So all these, you can say, trends are supporting the market going forward. Who will be the winner? This is the last question here, because there are of course other players in this market, and here is an overview of some different reports. And looking at the companies overall, these are relatively small, so there's no winner yet, and we have also seen some consolidation in the market. So this consolidation will both provide some risk but also opportunities for MapsPeople, and this is something that you can read more about in the investment case.
Can you give us some perspective on the valuation of MapsPeople?
Yeah, so looking at valuation and using the simple ARR multiple, we take the market value divided by the annual recurring revenue. So this is the reported annual recurring revenue from the last 12 months. And if we take this multiple, we have seen that the external environment has affected the whole stock market, but especially the growth stocks and the SaaS sector, due to the increasing inflation, higher interest rates, and so on. So the multiple has decreased from 15 times ARR last year to 5 times ARR, both in Denmark as a whole, but also for, you can say, the larger US company as well as MapsPeople. So the level is now back to you can say a relatively low level, but it's in conjunction with the whole market. So taking MapsPeople, if we look at the company itself, if they can continue the growth rates, this could be or is a relatively low level compared to last year at least.
All right. So do you have any key investment reasons for the investors out there?
Yeah, so MapsPeople is in a unique market, as I said, and the market is growing a lot. So if they can, or they are kind of one of the category leaders right now. So if they can continue being on top of the market, I expect that they can continue growth significantly. And with customers such as LinkedIn, JP Morgan, etc., they have this land and expand strategy where they have some very large customers, and they can increase their sale to these large companies, which also is shown in their net revenue retention rate. So they are able to increase the contract with the larger customers. Furthermore, as I said in the valuation, if they can continue accelerating their growth rates, of course, this will also provide some potential for this case that are now being hit very much by, you would say, the market circumstances.
All right. And what about risk? Do you see any risks for the investors?
Yeah, so of course, it is also a risk that these growth shares, such as MapsPeople, are dependent on the cash, because they need to invest a lot in growth activities. So right now, the capital situation is very important, and it's hard to attract and raise more capital right now. So this provide, of course, a capital, you can say, risk, but also in terms of guidance, that if they need to you can say, stop a bit with their investments, then the guidance or the AR guidance may be too high, because they need to focus more on cost and so on. So that's, of course, a key risk in this case. However, we also see that a lot of competitors are in this market. These are smaller, so if they have easier access to new capital and they can continue increasing their investments, this could also be, of course, a risk. And finally, in relation to the competition, we also see that ServiceNow, one of the giants in the software sector, has acquired a peer company. So if we see more financial strong companies entering the market, this will also possess a risk. But for MapsPeople itself, it could also create an opportunity, because when these companies are entering the market, maybe buying some competitors, these companies will also change their focus, and then this will create new opportunities for MapsPeople. So of course, there are things going, you can say, in both ways in these risks.
Sure. And what does the future look like for MapsPeople? Is there anything we have to look for?
Yeah, so if we just looking at the current news flow since they IPO'd last year, they have reported some new partnerships and also some larger customer contracts. We of course expect this will continue, but we are also looking into an uncertain macroeconomic situation right now, and we of course do not know how resilient this market will be if the growth rates, you can say, of the total world will decrease. Nevertheless, there may be fewer investments in this market, but I think that, of course, this market will continue its growth rates, and this will also is also expected to be seen in the upcoming news flow. We could also see that MapsPeople will maybe change their focus right now to be more cost-oriented. This is something that we will look for in the upcoming financial reports from the company, and maybe push less on the investment speeder. However, with you can say, also looking at an overall view, MapsPeople follows the valuation of the software sector. So of course, if we only looking at the share and the valuation, I think we should also keep track on you can say, the macroeconomic environment in terms of the high inflation, the increasing interest rates, and so on. If interest rates are going down again and we have a more stable inflation level, then it could be favorable for the software sector, but of course also for MapsPeople. And looking at the MapsPeople, you can say, growth strategy itself, it is also, of course, dependent on whether they can keep on track and continue its growth going forward. So there's a lot of things to keep an eye on.
All right. Thank you for the walkthrough, Kasper.
Thank you, Christian.
If you want to read more about MapsPeople, you can read the whole investment case on the website. Thank you.